Hello guys and welcome to another beautiful Minecraft Let's Play episode. And why is today's episode beautiful? Because I've built something really beautiful for you guys that I want to show you today. Right now I'm in the Savanna village that also appeared in one of my episodes, and I got 3 cats here. And aren't they lovely how they're chilling on the bed just waiting for me to come back. And as you guys already voted, we will work on next on the Snowy Tundra Kingdom. And because I wasn't so familiar with the walls of like cobblestone and bricks, I actually decided to experiment around. And after a while I actually covered such a huge area, and this was just an experiment, that I decided to actually build a freaking beautiful Savanna Manor inside. And yeah, this village has been growing a lot too. And I also kept leveling up those villagers because I want some master traits and expert traits. And for some reason, and I don't get why, I get so many iron golems there where the brewing stand is, or the church is. And yeah, it's just crazy, I don't know. I'm cursed or something, because I always have those massive iron golem spawns. And I actually like that with the chiseled stone here, like, I actually think I will use that pattern, perhaps like everywhere on top as well, for the Snowy Tundra Kingdom most likely. And yeah, that's where you enter actually this manor. And yeah, that's the beautiful manor. I already got 2 blacksmiths there at the grinding stone. And yeah, let me quickly explain you what sort of buildings they are. This is the smithing building, the blacksmith building. This is the stables. There are actually 2 cauldrons, one is also inside, and that's the main building, the main thing of the manor. So yeah, what traits do they have? Unbreaking is not too good. Oh yeah, and I was like heavily inspired by the spawned one of the plains biome, the blacksmith building of the plains, and that's why I also put there some lava, cobblestone, the fence. Inside there's nothing special, just 3 beds, a lantern and some roses bush there. With some trapdoors of course, so it looks like a giant pot. The stables, I still need to level up a leather worker to finally get the saddle so I can tame a horse and put the horse inside here. For some decoration of course I added some hay here. So it actually looks like there's some food for the horse. This cauldron with water is supposed to be for the drinking for the horse. Inside there's nothing very special, just some peonies, I think they're called, flowers, some beds, a cauldron, carpet. I might add some small painting there or some more decoration, let's see. What I like about this stables building is actually this with a acacia wood slab and like the way you enter this. I might also add some path, some small road there, just so it looks better. That's a small flower garden I've added. You can just sit there and chill if you want and just look at the beautiful flowers. And I actually love the bricks. Like this makes actually a great road. I might like this one actually more than the smooth stone. Because that looks so natural, and even the tone. It really fits the Savanna as well. So yeah, I actually decided to add some banners there to give it like an even better look. And like before I enter and show you everything, I must admit I was heavily inspired by some Detective Conan episode where I also saw a manor. It just had a different color. This was like in grey, but this was in red. And I actually tested around some stuff with some glazed terracotta, and I decided to use orange for this one. I just think this flower pattern there, the orange flower, looks really beautiful with this turquoise like tone, what really fits that aquarium well. Like, this is a weird painting. I got a painting of some, I think it's a girl or boy, I cannot identify the gender, hugging a llama pig. This looks like a llama or something with a pig face. Like Minecraft has some really weird paintings, like they look freaking strange, like seriously. But anyway, yeah, and I added some aquarium with some salmons. I didn't get any exotic fish, so I decided to use the salmons, and they are really huge, like it looks so crowded. And sometimes they glitch out and they're actually outside of the water with the tail or head. Hey, but it still looks good. And there's some sort of oven that I created here with a chimney. That one actually looks not too bad, right? Here is the kitchen. I actually feel like it turned out pretty well with that painting, and That sapling here, that looks like some bonsai-like tree or some bush tree. I actually wanted to add some shelves for some I don't know, forks maybe or plates to put in there. But I had to use planks because like there are no shelves in Minecraft. And here this is the washing area where people can wash like the plates and all. It's just it's like just trapdoors with some water in there. Yeah, let me show you the upstairs area. Here's the library with also some seating areas so people can like look at the books and read them. There I store some stuff that I maybe will need in the future to lecture, so I can have the librarians. And if you look outside of that window, you see the beautiful mesa biome, the badlands there. Wow, I really love terracotta in builds. Because if you look at this looks so freaking modern, right? Like that's the path to the bedrooms. And we got this really interesting painting of people doing some karate, like Hwaa! Sorry, that was my weird battle cry right there. And yeah, some flowers can't be missing. And it's about to get night, so let me show you the royal room. I'm actually calling it the royal room, but it's basically for the owner of this manor, in this case me, to sleep in, right? We got something that looks a bit like a couch or sofa or something, but yeah, let's sleep and I will show you even more. Okay, a new day started. And here's a cartography table, so I can also make a map for this area since I don't have a map for this area yet, and I can make the map zoomed out so I can cover a bigger area. Here we got a painting of the wither. And what I really love in builds recently is I love carpets actually as a table. Like I used the pressure plate before, but I actually realized that if you use a carpet, it actually looks like table clothing, right? Like that looks way better than the pressure plate, in my opinion. Like here I have a pressure plate. It just has like such a similar color to the ground. What you could do is you could use either birch or maybe some oak instead of acacia, if you use acacia wood, so it has a different color. Then a pressure plate is fine as well. But otherwise I always advise people to use carpets. They make great tables. So yeah, and that's the bedroom for the workers. It's a really small room, right? It's just 4 beds in there, a bit of carpet and some stairs as seats. Oh wow. And I'm a huge fan of lanterns. Like glowstone is not bad as well, don't get me wrong, but I just think glowstone looks too huge. I actually do have some glowstone in a chest somewhere in this holiday, in this vacation house. But yeah, and especially this path right there, like this path was heavily inspired by some anime, because I saw something similar in an anime. It was a Detective Conan episode, but this was in grey, not in red. And I actually take heavy inspiration from other games, be it like Zelda and sometimes anime when I make buildings. And I just try to remember certain areas or rooms or places in anime and I try to recreate it. But of course with our own flavor added to it, not identical to that anime, because I don't just copy stuff, I get inspired by stuff. Yeah. Of course here there also must be some flowers for decoration. But I wished actually I would have had an even bigger area, because that flower garden feels a bit too crowded and tiny, but it still looks good. A lot of different species of flowers. And oh, I need to show you guys something really, really beautiful and cool that happened. I actually managed to breed turtles. Let me show you my turtles breeding area. Ah! But I forgot to correct something that I said in a previous episode. I once said actually that if you grow crops somewhere, like here for example potatoes or carrots, and that if you're using a bee farm, that the efficiency is doubled. I was actually wrong, it's not doubled, it's at least tripled. When I actually farmed here for some crops and I waited for them to grow, Like even after a full day, not everything was grown, even though I was very close and nearby. And I actually realized that I can grow stuff completely at least twice and often even triple when I have a bee farm. Without a bee farm, if I want like a full growth, it takes like about almost a full day. So you can actually get 3 times as many carrots and potatoes with a bee farm. And yesterday I took like more than a half hour to actually experiment with it, and I realized that I do get double the drops from a bee farm. No, not double, triple the drops from a bee farm. And I already patched this area up. There was a really big hole, and I don't like this, how sometimes in villages there are like those really huge holes spawning, and if you fall you just die. And for some reason this turtle here just keeps swimming. Like, I don't know why it doesn't return back to the upper area. I don't know why. But I managed to get some eggs here. I have 2 eggs here now, and of course I decided to protect those with the fence here. And I actually did have 4 eggs. But what I did with the eggs was I used a silk touch pickaxe, and I actually moved 2 of the eggs to the desert kingdom. Because I also want to have some beautiful turtles in my desert kingdom. And that's where we are heading right now. This area is still a ghost town. Most of the buildings are not used. I guess the distance is just too far. But once the village grows, I hope more people will gather here. Oh wow, I can already imagine that if I use the bricks wall or a cobblestone wall, it will look really, really beautiful. Just like this wall here. And I will make it as high, of course. Like, it needs to look like a powerful kingdom in the snowy tundra. Oh wow, Minecraft music is so lo-fi, like seriously. Listening to Minecraft music is always like listening to lo-fi. Oh, and I got now all jobs as well. Like, this market is now complete. I got now workers everywhere here. What's this guy selling? He actually changed what he's selling. Oh no, he's also selling pens. Oh, that looks way better. Now only the chest is missing. One day this will be complete. But yeah, for some reason the turtle eggs take eternity to grow. I've heard that they grow faster at night, but I don't want to wait till the night. Especially since some villagers are still sleeping in the open and they could die, or some don't find a bed. So I want to guarantee the safety for every citizen of my kingdom. But yeah, here are the turtle eggs that just don't grow. I need to be careful to not step on those. And I've heard this can take like sometimes almost like a week for them to mature, right? Like every 2 or 3 days our stage can change. That takes eternity. Oh yeah, and for those of you that are new to my channel and haven't seen like my botanic bee and farm garden, I actually don't know what to call it because it has bees and crops in there. Let's just call it a botanic garden, okay? Anyway, this botanic garden or bee zoo or whatever you call it has a lot of hives in here, and stuff just keeps growing almost in an instant. Like, I was here just like a couple of minutes ago before I started filming, so that's why like some of the carrots are missing. Because I did a bit of trading, because I was short on emeralds. And yeah, everything grows 3 times faster at least with those bees, especially if you have so many. And there's one little trick and one advice I want to give you. If you want all the crops to grow and be reached by bees, try to keep the distance of the flower to the last row of crops not further than 3 or 4 blocks. If you put flowers here and you don't have flowers here, for example, even if they fly over those, some of those rows are not reached by the bees. So you want to have like, maybe like, sometimes it's okay 5, but you want to try to stick to at least like 4 blocks of a gap. Or 3 blocks of a gap between the flowers and like where the bees are flying, right? So they fly over 3 or 4 blocks. Use their pollen to let them grow. But if you have like a 6th row, for example, like it's sometimes not even reached by it. And you won't even let them grow. So keep it 3 or 4 blocks if you can. So you put there some flowers, then 3 blocks of crops or 4. And then again a row of flowers, then at least 3 or 4 blocks of crops, then again a row of flowers. Or another method is you use single blocks with a flower, and then you have like also like 3 or 4 blocks next to it with crops. Then you put there another flower and then 3 or 4 blocks of crops around it. That's the best way to grow those in my experience. So make sure the gap is not too big between the flower and the crops. Like this here is actually wasted. Like those grow the slowest. Like when we entered, you guys saw this is still not fully matured. And the reason is here are no flowers. I'm supposed to put here flowers and put the water here. So I will maybe actually move that. Because this is the most inefficient corner. Or I just sacrifice 1 crop and put there 1 individual flower. And I still need to put flowers here, and I will do that now. Yeah, let's use those. I really like those. Oxy Daisy. And as you guys can see, they're gathering there now, and this will grow way faster. Put the rest back in there and let's go to sleep. I hope I could help you with my advice for bee farms in case you also want to create a build like that. It's a really useful build and you can farm so many emeralds. Like, you get rich that way in this game. Because farmers are probably the easiest way to get emeralds in this game. Like, just look at me, I have 45 emeralds and I did that in just a day. And that's all thanks to this bee farm. It's so freaking useful, guys. Oh, and by the way, guys, I figured out why I kept losing villagers in the palace. Actually, the stairs were the reason why they died. Because they constantly took fall damage, and I'm about to show you a little trick and a little bug or something that I hope Mojang fixes soon. If you breed villagers, like usually villagers can fall from at least 2 or even like 3 blocks of height and they don't take any fall damage. But it's different with baby villagers. If I'm not mistaken, I watched correct, 3 blocks, or was it 4, are enough for them to take fall damage, unlike the players and the mature villagers. So each time I actually kept breeding those kids, I kept losing them because they kept falling multiple times, took too much damage, and then they just died. Like, look, he's fine because it's 2 blocks. But if he falls down from 3 blocks, he will take fall damage and it will be over for him. And I want you guys to breed. Let's hope they are breeding. Okay, maybe later. So yeah, I actually created a wall here. And I suggest everyone that has buildings with villagers and you want to also breed inside those buildings, or there are the beds, especially on the upper floor, always create a wall for your staircase. It's fine like here if you have like 2 blocks of height, for example. Like even kids, they don't take damage unless it's like 3 blocks if I'm not mistaken. But since here's a block, he can take that fall damage, right? But before I saw a kid jump down from... Yeah, it was from somewhere here and it took fall damage, and after a few times the kid just died. So you have to be really careful. And same with those. I actually put one on top there. And here it can't reach because it's not high enough. Because if they jump down also from bookshelves and they are like 3 blocks high, kids also do that, they start taking fall damage. So you have to be super careful with that. And I also figured out why one of my adults died. Let me show you that from the balcony here. Before I had a gap of 2 blocks. So some of the villagers that worked in the palace, they were sleeping somewhere there in the building, right? So they tried to reach their working station this way, and there was like a 2 blocks distance, and they kept falling down because either they pushed each other or they just tried to reach it and they slipped and fell down. Because I actually left it like that because it was so much effort and time to actually fix this, because like to mine all the way down there is like crazy. Because right now we are in the desert hills, and there was like this whole sand mountain that I had to mine and dig out to create this palace. It was a lot of effort. I spent so many hours. So at the end I got a bit lazy and I didn't fully remove that mountain. That's why there's still this higher area there. And this caused my adult villagers to sometimes pass away. Yeah, it doesn't look as good anymore as it used to. But now it's a functioning building. And yeah, just like in the Savanna Manor, here's some glazed terracotta. And I love working with glazed terracotta as some sort of ground decoration, some sort of carpet, right? But I prefer this garden somehow over the manor garden. Because I guess it's way bigger and has a fountain. Which building do you guys actually like more? The new Savanna Manor? Or do you like this palace here, the desert palace? What's your favorite building? Because I'm still undecided which one I like more. Like, I like the space of this more. But I like the color personally of the manor more, and the whole environment. I guess I'm more of a fan of the Savanna biome than the desert one, I guess. But those trees add nice to that one too here, even though I do love the stables as well. So yeah, I'm super undecided. Inside I probably prefer the Savanna Manor, but outside maybe the desert one. I don't know. So yeah, that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video. I put a lot of time and great effort into making these videos. There's a lot of preparation time, because to build everything like that in survival, like that takes eternity and great effort, and to come up with ideas like that. So I really appreciate likes and subscriptions. And I hope you guys all stay safe and healthy. By the way, we have now our own Discord server. I will also leave that one in the description, so you're all invited to join. See you guys next time.